Hey, this is Marc Goldberg from Marc Vlogs Watches, and I have a very special video for you today. But before we move into the meat and potatoes of this video, I think it's time to get the quick fist watch check right out of the way, and let's do that right now, and here she is. I am wearing the Zenith. No, it's not a Zenith, it's a Zenith. I'm wearing the Zenith El Primero with the display case back. Now, it's possible that you may hear a cat complaining somewhere in the background, and that is going to be relevant to the stuff of today's video. Here I am, I'm Marc Goldberg. I'm an American in the Chicago area. I drink coffee, and I talk about watches, and I rarely lift those weights back there. Now, maybe you know my friend Adrian from Bark and Jack, and I like Adrian. He's a great guy. You probably know his channel. He's got a lot more subscribers than me, deservedly so. Why? He's got an English accent. I just can't compete with that. But if you don't know his channel, I'm going to put a link to his channel in my description, and you should definitely go on over there and take a look. But Adrian drinks coffee and talks watches, and this annoys me for multiple reasons. First of all, Adrian, you're British. You should be drinking tea and talking about watches. That's the first thing. Coffee, I think that's exclusively an American provenance. I hope you can hear the kitty in the background, because Bark and Jack, really? That's what you had to name your channel? And that wasn't like a direct poke at me. Marc Goldberg, the dog trainer. Why didn't I think of Bark and Jack? Who's Jack? Why didn't I think of Bark? Bark and Mark. Bark with Mark. Why didn't I think of that? No, all I could think of was Marc Vlogs Watches. So here we are. Hey, you guys are lucky I didn't call myself Federico Vlogs Watches, except for I'm not Federico, but you know, I get an idea in my head and I have a hard time getting it out. Okay, so look, I'm wearing green, which is the color of Rolex, even though I'm not wearing a Rolex on the wrist. But look what I got here, guys. I'll take it off so you can see better. This is a Rolex cap. Oh, look at the little tab for sizing this thing is actually green Rolex rubber. I don't know why it doesn't have, you know, like the Rolex logo there. I've seen this cap in various iterations, but it is in fact the Rolex green. And this is a genuine article. This is the actual Rolex hat. And how do I know that? Well, because I got it from Rolex. Had to go to the authorized dealer yesterday, and I dropped off the dog of the range, people, the dog of the range, which is the Polar Explorer 215670. No, 216570. Dropped that off because I wanted to get it authenticated. Now, the reason you hear a cat, that I didn't put him away so you wouldn't hear him, is because, well, if Adrian, if you're going Bark and Jack, you should be drinking tea. But if you're, this is, by the way, I don't have one of those delightful espresso makers that you do. I have an American Keurig, okay? It's a Keurig. Oh, here comes the cat. He's found me, which is not easy for him. Come here, buddy. Hold on. Let's go get the kitty. Not easy for him. He's deaf. Well, hi. Well, somewhat deaf. Here we go. Yes, that's right. You are getting to say hello to Marc Goldberg's kitty, whose name is Jupiter, and as near as I can figure, he's like 14. He is the cat who, somewhere over a decade ago, he's the only cat that didn't scratch me at the shelter. So this is the one that came home. But, oh my God. You know, let's just take a quick aside and talk about cats. You know I'm a dog trainer, but basically, you know, I'm an animal lover, and this little bastard is an animal. And so I was talking to my vet who rescues cats, and I confessed to her that I have kind of a love-hate relationship with this cat, because he'll wake me up in the morning, he's demanding, he's loud, he's a complainer. It's just like a wife, guys. It's just like a wife. So I said to my vet, who has rescued thousands upon thousands of cats, you know, on her own dime and at her own time. I said, I have a love-hate relationship with this cat. Like, I hate him, but I love him, but I hate him. And she told me that not to worry, that I had just described the entire human-cat relationship. So I felt a lot better when I realized I was not alone. Okay, so the hat. Yeah, well, from the authorized dealer, I purchased the 43mm Sea Dweller, right? So I got that, and hey, take this Bark and Jack. I got a cat purring in my lap. So I took the, I bought the Sea Dweller there. I brought it in to have them look at the squeak. Now I have to say they looked at me like I was a little crazy. The repair manager, who is a doll, but she looked at me like I was like a little bit, you know, unusual, like not right in the head when I complained that the bracelet squeaked. She goes, well, I hear it moving around. I also was wondering, I wanted her to turn the crown because it feels different to me, that slightly different. It's a minuscule hair of difference, but it felt a little different to me than when I turned the crown on a pretty much any other movement, except for this is a new Rolex movement. I don't remember, you know, what the name of this particular movement is, so I'll drop it in right here. But it's a new movement with a 70-hour power reserve. So, you know, who knows, maybe it winds a little different, but I wouldn't think so, because I have wound dozens and dozens of different Rolexes, felt the crowns. They screw in easy, they unscrew easily, they are not gritty, they don't turn hard, there's no like weird little dead spot. Anyway, I just wanted her to look at it. And by the time I was done with her, I think her OCD was firing off, because at first she goes, it's fine. And then she got her watchmaker, and this is from an authorized dealer, so they have a good watchmaker. And so she got her watchmaker out, and he felt it, and he looked at me like I had 3 heads, and he goes, it's fine. But of course, he had sausage-like fingers and calluses that were, you know, like really super thick, so I'm not sure, you know, that this guy was going to feel the nuance of anything. And, you know, and it worried me a little, and so, you know, Alicia looked at me and she goes, this is fine. And then she sticks it back on my wrist, and then about 5 minutes later she goes, give it back. You know, she starts turning it again. She goes, now I don't know. She said, I think now I'm second guessing myself, and I know exactly how she feels, because I feel something that feels a little different, but it's super subtle. So I'm going back, you know, because she would like the manager to feel that also, to just see if it feels any different. But you know, so guys, if you think you're nuts, if you think you detect these tiny little weirdo differences that you're not sure if they're there or they're not there, but don't worry about this. You know, like, you are not alone. You know, we like all suffer from this problem, including some of the very experienced personnel at authorized Rolex dealers. So they gave me a hat. Now, the hat, you wouldn't believe this, but I had to sign for the hat. I mean, it was free, it was a nice piece of swag, but I had to sign for the hat. Why did I have to sign for the hat? Because, well, they didn't tell me this, but this is my guess. These things are on eBay for, like, I've seen them on eBay between $100 and $200, different iterations, you know, of the actual, you know, hat. Oh, you know, the rancher is going to take a little pleasure in this. There were stickers on this hat. Actually, they were tags, and they cut them off. They did not give me the hat with stickers. They took the stickers and tags off the hat before handing it to me. I was a little disappointed, but I wasn't going to throw a 5-year-old hissy fit temper tantrum and like storm out of there and leave the hat on the counter as though it were a Batman GMT with a sticker half removed. I wasn't going to pull a rancher. This is not the flyover states. We try and be, you know, like a little rational here. At any rate, you know, they peeled the stickers off and they made me sign for it. And I think that that's so they have proof to Rolex that they're not like selling these guys out the back door, because apparently Rolex is. It's just my guess, but I'm thinking they can't be all that easy to deal with, right? Okay. Oh, and by the way, the authorized dealer, they were pretty well devoid of steel sports Rolex the way you would think. They had a used pre-ceramic sub, and they had a used white dial Milgauss, and then new, I think they had a Yachtmaster, and you know, then they had, you know, the other stuff that you would suspect. Although, you know what, they had one Air King, which may be the other dog of the range. You know, I say the Explorer 2 is the dog of the range, but I think there's a split decision there as to whether the dog of the Rolex range is the Air King or the Explorer 2, you know, current production model, the 42 millimeter. And personally, I love that one, especially the Polar Explorer, but the Air King does less than nothing for me. Less than nothing for me. Okay, so it has taken me approximately 9.5 minutes to get to the purpose of this video. And that is, would you like to shoot your shitter? Now, I live in America, and so this is something else that I can do that, you know, Bark and Jack, that Adrian, you can't do this. Excuse me a second. A cup of good old-fashioned American coffee made out of a Keurig, which is probably not even an American company. But notice the clear glass so you can see the remnants and shreds of coffee at the bottom. I think the cat wants some of the coffee, but he's jacked up enough already. Okay, so I'm American. And you know what? You know what else you can't do, Adrian? You can't shoot a shitter, and I can. Because that's right, we have the Second Amendment, the right to arm bears. We have bears that are armed all over this country. So, and as a proud American, that's right, I'm a gun owner. Okay, I'm not gonna talk about my guns very much right now. That's not the purpose of this video. I don't wanna sound intimidating. But I do in fact own, I'm an armed bear. So if you would like to have your shitter shot right here on international YouTube, we can arrange that. So I'm going to put in the description, and I'm going to drop in here my shipping address. I do not want you sending me firearms, bullets, you know, don't get crazy, don't send me anything weird, okay? But if you have an Armatron, if you have a Vostok, if you have a Quartz Seiko, if you have an Invicta, if you have something that you are ashamed to own, get your tail out of my face, and you would like me to shoot it here on YouTube and show that in super slow-mo, I'm your guy. Adrian from Barkin' Jack, he can't shoot a watch. Not allowed to own a gun. You know, the worst thing he can do is speak to it harshly. Tell it to do something without saying please. He could be impolite, but that's about it. He could fry it along with the fish and chips, which, by the way, isn't actually a bad idea, but nonetheless, this is my idea. I'm gonna shoot your shitter. So send me your shitter or communicate with me via email. Let's talk about how to get it done. And for the moment, this is Goldberg, wishing that things were barking right now rather than meowing. Goldberg and Jupiter, signing out.
Paint the sky.